Hey y'all, welcome back to For the Fans, where tonight we are going to be breaking down the second episode of Survivor 44. Much calmer,
Okay.
much less happening, no accidents, we didn't see any medical, but we got some things going on and some things working here. So I'm excited to talk about it, jump into this episode, see what y'all are all thinking about it. So Kevin, Sheldon, Karen, what'd you think about the episode?
It was great. It was great. It was
okay.
a fun episode. A lot of twists, a lot of turns, idols being found and searched for. Carolyn doing stuff, which is now becoming commonplace already.
Yeah.
Definitely much more Nora than who else is she? Sari,
Oh, yeah.
Who said she was Sari? That's craziness.
She said in her bio that she wants to say that she plays like Sari, but she's probably more like Nora.
She's never going to be Sari. What do you mean?
But she recognizes that she's a Nora, which is good because
I do want to say one thing. I wasn't here last week for your first recap of this first season. This number business needs to go away. This whole 44, 45, 46. Honestly, when he said it, I looked at him and he looks so much older than he did 22 years ago. I'm like, you are making Survivor sound old.
Because it is old. It's 22 years, Sheldon.
But every time he says 44, I want to say, maybe I should stop.
Wait. Let me get this right. Because he says 44, you're like, ooh, I've been doing this for too long. Maybe I should get out.
Stale.
22 years investment, that's my cutoff.
It's a lot. It's a lot of time. And I don't know. It just made me for a second think, holy crap, there was 44 of these? That's a lot. This is an old ass show.
I love it.
Yeah, that means it's so good. It's been around.
I mean,
there's 24 years.
There is very few television programs that make it that far. Without knowing anything off the top of my head, you have to think that maybe 60 Minutes, Dateline, The Simpsons. There's maybe a handful of things.
Not too many.
Yeah, so to have this reality show that really kind of broke the mold for so many things.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where you get off the ship. Sheldon is where you're
I'm not getting off the ship. All I'm saying is when he says 44, it reminds me that I just spent 22 years times 1 hour a week times 8 months a year sitting on the couch watching him and other random people doing some crazy ass shit that I've loved. I much prefer when it was villains versus heroes, monkeys versus artists, whatever the heck they're doing. I don't know.
Why would that change anything though?
Because then there's a theme. What's the theme of this season?
I'm with you in that I miss the themes, but I'm not willing to jump off the Survivor board.
I'm not jumping, folks.
They were really stretching for themes, though. Island of the Idols.
Yes. Thank you, Karen. Edge of Extinction.
Yeah.
Survivor, but this season is Survivor. This season is Survivor Carolyn or Survivor the Birdcage. That's what this season is.
Survivor Birdcage.
Why would it be Survivor Birdcage? It's literally 3 bird cages. Once they're done, they're done. I don't know.
How do you know?
Because we got an idol played, and no one used the birdcage again.
Okay, for now. Maybe it turns into a scorpion's nest next.
I think it should have showed back up in the birdcage. But I just want to generally say that I love the birdcage.
Yeah.
I love the numbers. I love the numbers. I really loved 41 when they they pulled back and they said, "This is the crew. We're doing a TV show. We're doing it 41. No need for the gimmicky names.
I need some chopsticks to deal with this.
You know that this is a TV show, guys. We're no longer trying to pretend like we're trying to establish a new society." On Paramount Plus, that's not true at all. On Paramount Plus,
you're the only one.
I obviously am not the only one. Jeff likes it, so me and Jeff.
Who the hell cares about Jeff?
Well, obviously, if they were at 44, somebody, right? Okay. So this is the thing. The other day I was watching Palau. On So on Paramount Plus here in the U.S., they have live TV channels, and so you can click that, and it has like your live local news and your local channel, as well as 24/7 channels that have different things going. And one of them is the Survivor channel. So I flipped over to the Survivor channel while I was working, and it was Palau. Palau was on, and they were voting somebody out that he had twisted his ankle. It was Bobby John and Stephanie voting. So, I don't know if you've ever seen Palau, but they vote every time because their tribe sucked. But so I'm watching them do it, but they're talking about the society that they're building and what they would be doing as a society and keeping the strong and whatnot. And I'm like, thank God that they figured out that we are only out here for 26 days now, and this is an effing game. This is not.
Yes and no, but I mean, I still feel like that is a recurring theme, like where Jeff is like, you are building your own society.
I don't think he does that too much anymore.
No, I literally think he said those exact words. Yeah, last season where he was like, y'all are the ones that are defining what this, like what drives this society. Is it honesty? Is it
I thought he was talking about the game. I think before they used to try to pretend like we were. I think before.
Yeah, I think to a certain extent, like, yes, we've definitely got, and that's one of the things like that they talked about on Rock Has a Podcast this week is like the semantics of like the marooning that we talked about last week. That's out the window, and it's literally like you have 18 people pulling up on a beach, and it's with the understanding that, hey, we're here to play a game.
Right, and I love that. So that's why. See, I do it because we're playing a game. That's exactly what's happening here. After this is over, I'm going home, fam. Like, I'm going to my real society, my real family.
Except for the fact that who's the first person being voted out? Usually the weakest person on the tribe. So to some extent, sort of those things from the past are still really, really relevant.
No, not at all. The reason the weakest person is being quote unquote voted out is because we can't win with them. You're voting out liabilities to us winning the game. These are the things we need to win the game.
Are you suggesting so you're suggesting they previously kept a strong person because that person used to cook and fish and
yes, 100%. That's a prime example. Sheldon, that's a prime example. They used to really focus on helping the providers, and providing really meant something. They sent Ryan home like first at the merge this past season because they were like, "Thanks for the fish, man. We've gotten to the point where we now have rice."
By the same token, like it's also 26 days, and Ryan had caught enough fish that they had like.
That's what I'm saying. So, they're like, "Thanks, man. We're not keeping this around. This guy's around because he's a provider. Well, you gave us enough for the food. Now we also have rice. Adios. See you later."
All right. Well, we can literally go in circles about this round and round. And I'm sure we will continue to for the next 44 seasons. So
Sheldon will be gone though. Sheldon will be gone because
I'm dead. I'm dead sitting on my couch.
Let's jump into this episode.
Yeah.
And we are going to immediately, of course, go to the Ratu Beach, and we get to see a little bit of the fallout of this tribal council where Brandon is like, oh, what has happened? Like, I did not really expect to get these votes thrown on me. Kane is like, oof, I'm the only one that's left that voted for this man. And Matthew is like, this was perfect. Yeah. So what do y'all think about the ramifications from our first tribal?
Okay, the first question I have is, do we believe everything Matthew says about his?
I think I do, yeah.
I think I do too, but there was a part of me where I was like,
What part don't you think you believe?
Well, I assume, Karen, you think that he actually was scared, so he played it just in case, and he's just making it sound like, oh, he was a genius freaking move.
That.
No.
I mean, I think with Maddie's post-game press, like corroborating it, then yeah, I tend to believe that. Then him having this confessional in the moment, that Okay.
I don't believe that he thought he was in trouble, because like I think Maddie's plan of wanting to get Matt out never tracked and never made the light of day, because that's what she was saying in her post interview. I think she believed it, right? I think she believed in that's what she wanted to do, but it never gained traction because I do believe that Matt told Brandon to play his idol, right? I do believe that did happen. So since he told him to play his idol, it was not tracking. So I think that Matthew played his shot in the dark with an attempt to like not have to conceal what he was doing, just in case. Because remember the plan, I think that no one knew that Brandon was voting for Maddie. So I think Matthew thought the plan was to vote for what's her face?
Maddie?
Did Matthew really care though if it's Lauren or Maddie?
Yeah, I'm no, not Lauren. It wasn't going to be Lauren. It was going to be the other girl.
Oh, Maddie. Jamie. Sorry,
Jamie.
Oh, yeah,
Jamie. I think that he thought that he was voting for Jamie because I'm sure Brandon did not know that Matthew was going to play a shot in the dark. I'm sure that he made that decision on his own. So the discussion probably was Jamie at first until Jamie said she's going to play her shot in the dark very openly. And then once that was said, I'm sure that for Brandon specifically, he said, well, I'm playing this idol because I know that she's coming for me.
Yeah.
And so if the shot in the dark does work, it'll be Maddie that's left on the chopping blocks based on how everything we heard and everything they knew. That's what made the most sense for me. So
I think okay, so let's assume we believe Matthew's confessional or whatever. Then in that case, I think that is actually great because on such a small tribe, you just need to have all the information. And if you can find a way in that small of a tribe to maintain neutrality, then that's the move, I think, personally.
Speaking of having all the information, Lawrence just says openly that she has her extra vote. Like everyone knew that was the case. Like that was
Yeah.
So like while that happens, I like paused and I like looked at my husband and I was like, did she just say, yeah, so I have my extra vote, y'all can check my bag? And I was like, okay, so we're just gonna skim over that, obviously they have a big story that they have to tell, but to have cast that suspicion on her, from Claire on the sit-out bench, like this epic moment that she has, and then you come back and you're like, okay, Lauren is going to be in the crosshairs here. And then, okay, Lauren's name isn't the one that comes up, and then they don't even address, like, if Matthew said anything to Lauren, but obviously they did. And Lauren
somebody did.
Like, hey, I did lose my vote, but I also got an extra vote, whatever. I just didn't keep the paper. Who knows what she told them, but obviously they all know.
And right here in the chat, Don said that vote in the after conversation was amazing. This goes back to what I was just saying with our little argument about the society thing. They came back and literally just like broke down what happened game-wise for all 6 of them game-wise. Matthew congratulates Jamie for being the first one to hit it. Brandon talks about his idol being out, but apparently he had to use it from what he now understands. Kane like apologizes to Brandon right there.
Yeah, but he's also like, hey, like I thought that's what was happening. Like, I'm sorry that
correct.
I voted for you.
Lauren talks about her extra vote. Like all the things happened right then, and they all just had like a post-game debrief about what just happened with this vote. That was pretty phenomenal.
Okay, I want to talk about a few things. Number one, in that moment when Brandon came back, he was obviously trying to contain his emotion, but he is so easy to read. I'm a little concerned about what he's going to do in the future because everybody knew he was upset, and obviously he should have been upset. But he was like, he should have come along and given Kane a big hug, made him feel good, made him say, "Hey, it's a game, it's okay." And he didn't really do that. Point number one. Point number two. Are we watching a Winners edit with Maddie? Like,
whoa, Maddie.
Matthew.
Matthew.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's a Maddie, a Matt, and a Matthew. You have to say his full name.
I'm sorry. With Matthew, And I don't. First of all, every time they show him, it's either him accomplishing something good, getting over the big fall, having an emotional breakdown about his family and his goals. Like I don't know. It's just like,
Listen, Uncle
is this
Shelly,
Shan again? Are
you
we? Are
asked
we?
about a
Seeing,
winner's edit. The second, not even. We're talking about at that point. We're 47 minutes of film time because it was the first 5 minutes of the second episode. We're talking winner's edit already.
yeah. Yes, because there is a completely disproportionate amount of time they're spending on Matthew. There's a disproportionate amount of time they're spending on Franny and what.
Well, I mean, I think
It's a
there's
show myth.
Other Matthew.
You're
I think
skipping
there's a
ahead.
strong possibility Matthew is around for a while, but we also got literally nothing negative about Jesse last season. No negative about Jesse.
Well,
And
yeah, anyways, one more really quick point, and I'm trying to bring this up because I never had a chance to actually be part of our cast assessment. I'm really confused about the Kane casting. They put one human from Canada, and you on the surface, he should be really strategic, really devious. He looks swarmy, and he's boring. Who is this guy? What is going on?
2 episodes in.
Not bringing it.
Yeah,
Right.
I hold my Canadians to a high standard, and Kane from Saskatoon is not doing it for me.
All right. Well, we're just gonna stay here at the old Ratu Beach, and we're gonna talk about their little idol search because Kane's like, "Oh snap! I am in trouble," and probably there's an idol hidden back here. And I know that y'all are probably gonna shit on me for what I'm about to say, but I don't care. I'm gonna say it anyways. To me, like low key MVP of the episode. Not the big MVP, but the low-key MVP is Jamie, because we now know she was the main target originally, and she played it perfectly. I felt like getting more involved with her tribe, and she's there when they're all like, "Look at that Kane, he's so terrible. He's out here looking for idols," and Jamie's like, Kane sucks. He voted for you, and I think she said and did all of the right things to put that to where she was like, "Ooh, somebody besides me." And I think she did a really, really good job in this episode of hopefully shifting the target off of herself and onto him. Like when you see that one person that's left out, yeah, throw him under the bus, girl, because it's you or him.
That's quite a bit of praise for her
I said
stating the
low-key
obvious.
MVP.
She survived the first vote. At least she did that.
I think Kane bounced back.
We did have we've had a lot. Gabler won. Like that. That's our bar, folks.
I'm not
No,
saying
it's not
that she's the winner. I said she had a good moment in the little bit of screen time that we got from
100%,
Reddit,
100%.
where I think she did what she needed to do to hopefully set herself up well if they return.
I agree with a good moment. I do not agree with the low-key MVP association. That is for one line of stating obvious facts. It's like her saying, "Guys, this water's real wet." Kylie's like, "Give her that MVP, baby. Give her that MVP. The water's wet." She got that one right.
I'm just saying, low-key MVP. All right. And this is all we're going to get from Ratu, so.
Yeah, it was not a lot. They do well
Not
this episode. Kane's search, like I like the fact that Kane was like so blatantly searching because at this point there's no point for him to be like secretive doing it because he took a shot, he missed, and he's like shit, left holding the bag, and he knew that was a problem. So he's definitely on the bottom. But it doesn't mean he'll stay on the bottom. Right. But if you're Brandon and Matthew, you can't really trust him. And Jamie doesn't have a lot of options. And Lauren is, I think, with Brandon. Let's
be clear. Lauren is by herself.
Lauren's with Brandon. Lauren's with Brandon.
She told Brandon about the advantage before.
She's working with him, but Lauren's number one player and number one alliance is Lauren. And I love that.
Okay, one more thing about Kane, I think that he could have moved the crab from an obvious, like, I was searching for an idle spot to at least the ground.
He was scared. He was hungry. He didn't want to lose the crab, but so he had to give it up.
I did love when they were like, "Oh man, for a dude that's looking for firewood, he found that crab in a tree."
And get like 2 sticks and make some chopsticks and get the crab out. Like,
I mean, literally
He's
take that crab
sarcastic.
and
There's
swing
no
him by an
chopstick.
arm.
No
make your own
chopsticks.
chopsticks.
How did
Alright.
the crab get up there?
He climbed.
None of your business.
Don't they need to be near like water?
He's at the beach.
I thought he was like in the woods.
At the beach.
Maybe you went for a stroll and needed to get 10,000 steps.
All right, so
Little Fitbit. He had his little Fitbit on.
let's move on to the Soka tribe, where we get a little bit more from them, but still our focus is going to be on our girl Franny and our boy Matt. Matt.
Listen, before you get into it, the faces Claire makes throughout this scene,
Gold.
fantastic.
Which is why she is our thumbnail, because RBF for days.
She just
we're here for it.
Emotes so much. You know exactly what Claire's thinking and feeling, looking straight at her face, and it's hilarious. But go ahead.
Yeah, so we get the little sob story about Matt, and I'm not gonna lie, like, I mean, if I went through a breakup and they took my dog, I would be devastated. Devastated. And so, like, I feel more for him losing his dog than for losing his girlfriend.
I loved when they were like, "So how'd it go?" He's like, "Oh, it's kind of mutual. I mean, she broke up with me." And it's like, that's not quite mutual, my guy.
Mostly it was her.
Yeah. And this reminds me of my dog was the cutest in the world. Well, I mean, it's not my dog. It lives with my ex-girlfriend.
Yeah, like, she kind of broke up with me. She kind of took the dog.
I got nothing out of it. I got nothing.
Yeah, no, I mean, Matt is just looking like a little heart sick. Is that the word? Lovesick fool. And I'm worried for Franny, because I think Franny is, I think she's feeling it, but then she's also like, oh, I like this boy, but I also want to win $1 million. And she's realizing that, okay, this could put a target on her, and people are openly talking to her about it. So
like Claire's like, girl.
So from the confessionals, it seemed very clear to me that Matt is into Franny. But I wasn't as certain from what she was saying that she sees him as more than just a friend or an alliance.
No. She's into it too.
How do you know?
I was gonna say, does she like boys though?
I think she likes people.
Okay, I was gonna say, I mean, she definitely likes more than boys, but I don't know if she likes boys at all.
Either way,
she does like both or whatever, Yeah,
I think that's
either way. This is potentially the first time in reality TV show history that we've seen 2 nerds become the showmans. Like, it's literally the big muscle guy.
Like, nerds uprising.
I like how Survivor's like, listen, we like it when the hot people connect. But sometimes you get what you get, and this is what we got.
Yeah, but I'm sorry, this isn't a you get what we get. They have so many nerds on this season. It was almost pre-planned that some of them would stop. Like,
do they have so many nerds in the season?
Yes,
they do.
They
do.
Matt,
Carson, Helen,
Kane.
Helen's not really. Helen's
Josh
not really a
Wilder.
nerd.
Helen is a nerd. As soon as she was like, look,
Helen, yes.
No. They have smart people. Yes, no. They have smart. They're the difference between a smart person and a nerd, right? Yeah, 100%. You 100%. 100%.
Am I a smart person or a nerd? Or
Sheldon's a nerd, right? The 4 of us are smart. Sheldon's a nerd. Like, that's what I'm saying.
Sheldon's 100% confirmed a nerd.
And it is very obviously glasses, right? Glasses make nerd. So you look at that handsome man over there. No longer a nerd, but then he puts him right back on. Oh, nerd alert! And that's why you have Franny and Matt, who are definitely nerds. You have Carson, who's a nerd. You have
I put on
Like, I
my
don't
circle glasses. I hope I'm more nerdy
I
now.
think Helen is a nerd too.
Oh, for sure, she's a nerd.
So there's so many nerds. I mean, it's like 4. That's like a third of the cast.
Well, that's like half the cast.
It's a
Okay.
third.
Anyway.
Usually we say there's so many models. Now we say there's so many nerds. This is Survivor
I love
44.
Love it.
Because with 44, we have people that want to play the game.
All right. Anyways, though, people are, hey, Franny, girl.
Not
This is
just
gonna be
people, Claire. Claire's like, listen, girl, listen, you need to calm it down, right? Anywhere that Matt goes, we know you're going to be there too. Like, that's just how y'all work. And then
I like the close up of Franny's face when Claire was like, "Yeah, you need to like calm that down," and she's just like,
Do I have to?
"Yeah."
They cut to Matt and Franny giggling and Claire going,
There's a walking stick, like nerds.
There was a
Great.
scene where
Love
he
it. Love it all.
There was a scene where he sort of said, I like you, not in the I like you way, and I just like you as a human way. And then she puts her head on his shoulder, and it was like this really cute little.
Okay, yeah.
what I want to see is that scene happening and then Claire walking by in the background.
I feel like you don't put your head on the shoulder in a strictly platonic.
She likes him. I'm telling you.
Yeah, no, it's a love blooming in front of our eyes. All right, so
And as Dawn says, she totally likes him, but's more socially aware than he is. I think that will end up being Matt's flaw, is that he really plays with his heart, and I think he leads with his heart. I think that Franny is a lot more strategic. Another winner's edit.
possibly.
Wait, time out. So we have 2 different winners edits in the one
Listen,
season.
if you were to ask me today who's going to win, I would say Franny or Maddie.
Well, we're gonna ask you at the end of the episode.
Matthew.
I don't know the difference. They're all the
Maddie
same.
is the girl that's been voted off.
But I didn't say
Yes.
Maddie. I said Matty.
Maddie and Maddie sound the same.
Okay, nerd. All
Listen,
right.
as long as we all know that Bob says Matt and Franny,
Get that
they're
out of
gonna
here.
do it.
They get that out
Rob.
of here.
All right.
Love.
So also here on the Soka Beach, we're gonna have our boy Danny. He goes out searching for the key, and he finds it. Now,
Listen, last week I told y'all Danny's here to play. He's out here searching for stuff. He even says, I don't know how to find idols, but I know how you don't find idols by not looking for them. And that's exactly the case. This dude's out here to play the game. I told y'all last week. He's in a good spot.
I don't understand the ridiculousness of them all sitting by the fire. Claire is having a lazy party, and they're all thinking he's looking for wood. Have y'all not seen Survivor? He's not looking for wood.
Well, I love it because then he goes, he grabs the idol, and he puts the bag back. Then they go and look. They're like, it looks about the same. Doesn't look nothing's happening. We're good to go here.
I mean, does he put anything in the bag? Because like Jam, he had the right idea where he stuck his hand in.
Listen, we're gonna talk about that in a minute. We're gonna talk about that in a minute. But when Danny does it, they're like, everything looks right here. Nobody's found it yet. I guess we're gonna keep looking. And Danny just has the idol and he's ready to go. And he's just so pumped. Listen, I'm a big fan of this tribe. I'm cool with Matt or Franny going personally, but Danny and Claire, I am here for them. You Sheldon, you said Claire is having a lazy party. Claire.
Oh, no. I don't mean that she's actually playing a lazy game. She was saying, we should all relax and take our time. And all. I actually think that Claire is my winner's pick for this season. She was before the season started. Shut up. She was before the season started. And based on what we saw her doing in the middle of the last challenge in the first episode, and the behavior with Franny and her insight on the game, her understanding, she is playing the game. Nobody wants her out.
That's exactly what I was about to say. Claire is here to play Big Brother on an island, and I love it. I love it because when you're playing Big Brother on an island, what you're saying is like, we're making good vibes, we're hanging out, let's just kick it, guys. And everyone's like, I like her vibe. And that's how you stick around because you don't need to do anything.
And here's the thing, even her going to tell Franny, you need to be careful about, like, that is relationship building. That is a clear, I'm on your side, I'm on your team. She'll cut her.
Yeah, I'm looking out for you,
I'm on your
Franny.
team.
And I'm telling you why I'm going to be voting you or your boyfriend off in a couple of episodes. You know, like, I'm giving you advance warning. No, Claire is really, really great. Like, I can't wait until they actually, you know, I don't want them to go to tribal, but I'm going to be excited to get more Claire on our screen. Like, we're getting Claire, we're getting Franny, we're getting Matt. Tiny bit of Danny this episode. Heidi, no. Josh, no. Nothing about them.
Who are they?
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. So I think Josh is going to be a big force in the second half of the
Dear
season.
Jeff, I need you to give Josh some airtime because I'm in 4th place in the draft, and if Josh could get some screen time, I would be winning.
Thank you.
So the reason I think he's going to get a bit, so Josh's story is huge.
Mm-hmm.
His story, like where he's come from, his history, his background. We know Jeff loves that stuff.
Yeah.
Right? The editors love that stuff. So for us to have not gotten really any Josh in 2 episodes, based on the story that we know pregame that they allowed to get into the press kits, I think that we're setting up for a second half of like a lot of Josh.
Unless he really fizzles out and before he leaves on that one episode.
Well, see, that's the thing though. Hold on, shut up. If he fizzles out, I think that we would have got a lot of Josh because he's obviously doing stuff.
Well, I
right?
don't think he necessarily
he's boring.
he just may not have ever flamed to
It's
begin
not
with.
his time yet.
Well,
He just may be a
find him-
burger.
He's not
I
the
find him.
story.
I find him intriguing. I like the story in and of
The
itself.
story is amazing, but as you know, he may be like Heather 2.0 out here, where he sticks around for a long time, but he just doesn't pop in confessionals and he doesn't win the game, and they are just not going to waste their time. Sorry.
Or he's not.
But in a TV show here, guys, we are not here to, give everybody their flowers. All right. So that's going to wrap up what we get for the Soka tribe. Not going to see much of them. You already know where all the action's happening. And that's with these crazies over here on Tika. Like, what a gift. What a gift. Whenever they were sitting down, they're like, okay, we've got Carolyn and Jam Jam, like 2 huge, unique personalities. Let's put them on the same tribe. Like, that had to have been really, really ballsy to do and make that call. And I'm so glad they did.
And I think the balance was Bruce, because like Bruce was probably supposed to be the boring one on the tribe, the calm one, that's strong, right? And the fact that he is not there at all means that we have nothing left but a whole lot of crazy. And I will say that Carolyn's level of insanity, and I say that with complete love and respect because I love it, but Carolyn's level of insanity makes Jam Jam look normal.
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh, that's so true. But okay, so I know last week I said that like I think Carolyn is capable of building these relationships, and then we did see it last night with Jam Jam. Like he just comes over and he's like, "Okay," and I'm like, "Yes, all right, there it is." Like it happened.
Yeah,
like with someone at least, and obviously it happened enough with Carson.
Enough with Carson, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I don't know if that's a Carolyn thing though, as much as it's a Jam Jam thing.
Let's not get there yet, guys. Let's not get there yet because
let's talk about the birdcage, because we got some tension over here on Tika where they're like, this key has to be here somewhere, right? Like, let's all go look for it.
I don't understand this group.
Yeah, immediately Helen is like, no, we don't want to do that. Why do we want to have a group hunt? And I'm with you. Like, Helen is so smart. I think Helen could have been really great, but Helen is like, no, but okay, here we go. Like, what am I gonna do?
I am on board for team searching for advantage because the advantage right here is very public. It's just sitting out there. We all know that it's there. We'll all know if someone has it. Since that's the case, I, as a person that wants to be in control of what's going on tribe-wise, at least to a degree of what I know what's going on, I want us to all look together. I'm sending somebody with somebody, such as they did on Brandon's Beach.
Yeah.
Because that way someone will be able to dime out whoever finds it. Give me that team search. I want the team search.
No, Mr. Little Boston Rob. Okay. So, anyways,
Look, strategically, I think Kevin's right. By the way, like strategically,
That's the move.
I think
well, if you're the one
bang
that doesn't
on,
find the key, it is good to go out in a team and hopefully have the knowledge of who finds it. If you are the one that finds it, it is better to be by yourself. So I guess it depends on which side of the key, which side of the door.
Kylie, only one of us can find it, and there's 6 of us here. The likelihood is I'm going to be the one not finding the key. Therefore, we all need to go out there.
But you might. All right. So our girl Carolyn, she's hunting because she's like, ooh, I don't think these people like me very much.
No. I'm sorry. It was not that calm. Please reenact Carolyn properly.
I can't. But arms swelling.
There we go. There we go.
Hold on. Can we talk about the poop confessional?
What?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, none of the other 3 of you on here are parents, but I am going to say that I would probably do something like that too. But mine would probably be less from the aspect of like, okay, I need her to have her tooth for the tooth fairy, and more of like, oh my gosh.
Oh, yes. Okay, time out.
I'm sitting here trying to figure out what we're talking about. It was disgusting.
What if the tooth is lodged in her trachea and she's not going to be able to breathe? I'm going to have to check her poop to make sure that it has passed. That's what I would think. Okay? So 2 different people, but good for Carolyn. That's a good one.
No, she went through shit.
She sifted through poop over multiple days.
And she didn't need to do it the first day. She should have known. She should have waited for day 2. That's just the way the body works.
Oh my god!
Maybe I'm just not a. I mean, I'm not a parent, but I think if you swallow your tooth, then we'll come up with something else. Like the tooth fairy heard what happened. Yeah. The tooth fairy heard.
No,
we're not going through the poop.
Well, hold on, Karen. You got a cat named Claudia. Meow. Claudia,
I'm not going through her poop.
You're not going through her poop if she swallows her tooth?
No.
What if it's dangerous and it could like cut her trachea? Could cut her intestine?
We'll find out soon.
Wow. She doesn't like Claudia as much as we think.
I'm with Karen. I'm not going through anybody's poop. That was insane.
Right. If she swallows my wedding ring, yes. I'm going through the poop.
Gotta just buy a new one. Just gotta buy a new one. Lost it to the game, chalked it up to the game. Gotta buy a new one.
It's a little bit easier with the cat because they go into the what is that? The catnip? No, the cat
litter box.
The litter box. Whereas she had to go in the freaking toilet with her hand and lift it out. Oh my god!
Oh my gosh! Why are you getting so graphic with the details?
Anyways, all right, let's move on. Let's move on from the poop. But our girl Carolyn, she is dedicated to finding this key. We got her up in a tree, and when she like freaks out in the tree, I was like, okay, she found it. And then I'm like,
that's what they said too. It is nope.
She found a snake. Done. Like, y'all, I'm done as soon as I find a snake.
That's a good idea, though, for future Survivor. If there's a group hunt, you could just be like, oh my God, there's a snake. But I guess somebody else could be like, where is it?
I like how Karen started saying that's a good idea. That as she played it out, she was like, maybe not. Maybe not. She figured it out in her sentence.
Maybe all right. Maybe giant spider. How about that? Because the spider can leave.
Okay.
Or crab.
The crab. They're gonna want it. So Carolyn finds this key, right? And she's freaking out because she's stoked because she like finds this key after she looks for the snake. This is where I don't get it. I just don't get it. She then decides I need to use this key to get the idol out the birdcage.
Yes.
She opens the birdcage. She takes the bag.
Yes.
And then she runs.
Yes.
What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing, Carolyn?
She says that all of them are over there.
Carolyn chooses to do it.
They're coming this way. She takes off, lays down, then realizes, oh snaps. They're going to obviously realize that a bag is missing from the locked birdcage.
Yeah.
So she then goes, oh, snaps. I'm going to immediately think it was me. Let me run back, throw the bag back in the birdcage, slam the door, put the lock back on, and take off. The bag is not anywhere near what it used to look like. It is ajar. It is crumpled. If you look at the bottom, it's crumpled up.
Because it was in her boxers. It was in her underwear,
right.
whatever she's wearing.
This is like, I love that we see kind of like 3 completely different scenarios.
Yes.
And I feel like this is a producer's dream, and exactly what they wanted to see was different scenarios in each tribe. So
I
love this.
Carolyn's mind work in real time, because she like lays down and she's like, oh no, they're gonna know. They're gonna know that it was me. I gotta go back, and they're coming. I can hear them coming, so I have to hurry. And just absolutely almost blows this, except somehow, like, you know, goes into it ass backwards, and they're like, oh, well, Carson's like, look at me. I am a rocket scientist, and I can read body language. And
we're not there yet. Because
you're there. They've decided to go and check the cage.
So they find the cage, and they immediately understand that someone has, in fact, gotten into the cage. I do not understand why, when the 5 of them have been together for most of the time,
and the only person gone,
or the 4 of them have been together most of the time, and the one person missing is Carolyn, do they immediately look at each other and say, was it you? No, fools. It was a person that's not there. Think about it. There's one person not here. I don't know where she's at, but she's not here. Why are we immediately pointing our fingers at each other instead of being like, you think Carolyn got it?
And let's take it a step further. When they look at this crumpled bag and they look around themselves, Carson is not dumb enough to not put the bag back properly.
Is Helen dumb enough?
Is not, like, the only person that would have left the bag in such a disheveled state is the person we know has it. And none of them looked at her, because they completely underestimate her. They completely don't look at her as a threat. They don't think she could play the game. They don't think she understands what the game is. And that is going to bite them all in the rear, because whether Carolyn understands what's actually going on in the game or not, Carolyn's here to play. And who knows?
I'm ready to cross Carolyn off
far.
I'm crossing Carolyn off the list right now. She cannot win this game.
You said that about Gabler.
No.
When in doubt, Gabler.
No, I did. But no, Carolyn has Nora energy. Nora was in the end, and they did not give her the money. She cannot win this game. I'm saying that right now because of how they already view her. Gabler, so with Gabler, we as the people watching and myself, I viewed him a certain way. A couple people on that island viewed him in a similar way. And then they sat next to him in the end with people that did not view him that way. As we watch Carolyn, she is being viewed like a Nora. In fact, like you said, they underestimate her so much that they don't think that they immediately cancel her out as having been able to have found.
I'm sorry, but they also thought of Marianne similarly. They also thought
no.
Yes, they did.
Marianne had a fantastic move.
So it's really, really impossible to say how Carolyn is going to end up being perceived in episode 2. Just like we can't read a winner's edit, I don't think we can read a goat's edit either.
I didn't say go.
Well, you're comparing her to a Nora, saying Nora was also at the end, she can't win. We're getting really, really far down the rabbit trail. Let's talk about this episode. Okay? All right. So getting the wheels back on. All right. So immediately, though, Carson is like, oh, I can read body language. And Jam, he can't hide it. Like, it's written all over his face. He doesn't have it. Sarah, she's good. But, Helen over here, she's got her arms crossed. And if I know anything about body language, she's guilty.
Yeah.
Cut to a confessional from Jam. Jam's like, it's Sarah. I can tell she has it. Cut to a confessional from Sarah. She's like, it's clearly Jam. He's got the idol. And Carolyn is just sitting there like,
No,
I
no.
love this.
She is not. She is like, no, I don't know. That's crazy. Who could have it? I don't know. That's insane. I don't know what's going on here.
Which is
That's
the
what she
brilliance
was
of
doing.
her. That's brilliant.
She wasn't plotting like yes. It was a who? I don't know. That's so crazy. She was giving this.
This is where her just like inherently being weird is
Yes.
helping her
100%.
so much because her reactions are like,
Yes. Karen,
well,
Karen.
that's just her.
Yes. That's what I'm saying. Karen, what everything you just did are like checks out. That's Carolyn behavior.
Can we take this a step further? I think that Carolyn inadvertently saved herself.
How?
And I don't want to try to jump too far, but the fact that she found the idol, the fact that she left it in such a state that they knew somebody took it, made everybody do this to everybody but Carolyn.
We're literally like that Spider-Man meme where everybody's
Which makes
like,
no sense though.
Well, it doesn't
Because-
matter if it makes no sense.
I know.
It
I know.
happened.
I agree.
It happened.
I agree.
And
I
she
agree.
didn't plan it,
kind of
obviously.
looked into it.
She didn't plan it, obviously. But
Correct.
the fact that that idol was gone, and
Yes.
that made them all start to think of everybody else. When the truth is, maybe it would have been 3 against 2. Like maybe Carolyn would have been gone.
All right. Well, we're gonna get into the tribal
Challenge.
stuff in a minute. Let's talk about this immunity challenge. We won't spend too much time breaking down the actual, semantics of what happens. But
Breakdown.
one,
Apparently, you can
No,
sit out back-to-back challenges.
Yeah, what the heck is that?
yeah,
Yes,
okay.
you.
Well, Claire does sit out, but what is really curious to me is Jeff's reaction because it was really negative to me, and I was like, "That was weird."
When
Did
you
it strike
Claire-
y'all as weird?
It was
his
very
reaction when he's
difficult.
like, "Really?"
Well,
Almost like he
because-
was disappointed in you.
Well, but I don't think. But I love Claire because she seemed unbothered. Because he's like, "Is that your decision or like a tribe decision?" She looks back and goes, "Both." I don't know. Like that is say, I'm cool with it. They kind of. I mean, they're better than I am. I'm chill. Like,
Are they better than her? Like I wonder if that's where Jeff was coming from because I don't know. Athletically, I would swap her with potentially Franny, maybe
I
even
was
Matt.
thinking that
Or
too.
Heidi.
there's
Yeah,
a puzzle
or
though, right?
Well,
When
I
there-
don't know.
when-
Heidi seems strong.
There was
Oh,
the
yeah.
puzzle thing at the end. Listen,
Matt.
I am here for any person that's like, yeah, I don't need to play in this thing right here, man. Like I'm good. We gonna be okay. I'm here for any person that's willing to do that because, like I said at the beginning of this, Claire is playing Big Brother on an island. She's like, I am throwing cops. If we lose, I didn't do it. If we win, we all won. Look at us. Like that is, we're all safe.
I mean, I don't have anything. I mean, it's not here nor there for me. I just thought Jeff's reaction was really
agree.
interesting.
Jeff
really,
was very
and I mean,
surprised and almost taken aback by it, but they obviously you could sit out back-to-back challenges now. So I definitely see Claire renaming this bench the Claire sit out.
Oh yeah,
bench.
she's already shouting out, Queen Sandra and Queen Courtney for, laying the path for her. And so, those are good people to follow in their footsteps. All right. But we're gonna run through this challenge. Okay, whatever. We're not gonna go step by step on this. You watched it, you know what happens.
I will say there was one part that I thought was really cool that I don't think I've ever seen on Survivor before. The dropping of the bridge and the fact they had to hold the bridge up while somebody ran across. I don't think I've ever seen that. Was really cool.
So the challenge itself, you had to dig, get out the ball, go up this thing. Once you go up the thing, someone had to hold up a bridge, like Sheldon was saying. You have to hit the lever so that they can lower the bridge, and everyone could go up and go across. Then you take that ball and you do the legendary snake maze where he's the giant snake, and you have to take the two things on the side and lift it up and have it go into the top, into the hole at the top. I thought this was a fantastic performance by Matthew.
Sure. Now that's the interesting part that we're going to talk about from this challenge. Very, very curious of Matthew here, where Jeff is like, "Wow, Matthew, like you look like this was just so easy to you, like you've just done this in your backyard." And he's like, "Actually, Jeff, I have. I built this exact puzzle, and I've been practicing at home."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "What? What?
Yeah.
Why would he do this? This is
Let me
such a-
tell you why, Kylie. Because 44 seasons in, everyone knows we're playing a game. Everyone knows you can see similar puzzles.
Well,
I mean,
sure, no,
hell,
I don't think that this is Matthew's fault for actually building this at home and practicing it. Bravo.
I'm
Bravo
saying for him stating that he
Bravo
has.
Carson, boo
Yeah, but-
on production because they need to mix some shit up and stop doing the exact same puzzles like you've gotten predictable. Okay. But I am talking about the actual misstep of Matthew announcing, like,
I don't
I've
think
been
that's a
practicing this
misstep.
puzzle. This
I don't-
is a misstep,
I think
and
we'll find
this
out
is
if it's a
going
misstep.
to bite him in the ass.
I
Absolutely.
disagree. I so disagree. Because
I
at
think you're
this
the only one
point,
because this has been all over Twitter and everybody's like, "Homeboy, why? Why?"
I think
I'm
people.
unsure. I think it could be either. Go, Kevin.
I think the reason I disagree is because we are no longer pretending like we have not prepared for this. We are no longer pretending like we haven't been out here watching this thing for 20 years,
Right, that's
22 years.
irrelevant. I mean, nobody's
So him
arguing that
stating
point.
a fact, what I'm saying is that him stating the fact to me is not it's not a surprise, it's not a secret. People do these things now.
I so disagree with you, Kevin. I'm so on Team Kylie for this. I don't know what he gained by saying this. Like, there's only risk in putting this out there. And so,
I don't think he's like saying this. Okay, I want to make sure this is clear. I don't think he's saying this as like a game move. I think he's wrapped up in the moment.
Okay, but
I don't
it's a game.
But I don't think it's a misstep, is what I'm saying. I don't think that it's going to get him targeted. I don't think people are going to look at him for it. I think at this point we understand that we have been doing this forever. Other people have done this.
I'm sorry, not everybody builds a thing in their backyard and does it. And the fact that we then see Carson having the quick confessional of him saying that, potential of saying, yeah, I wouldn't have said that, is potentially some foreshadowing of something that we might see in the future. But I just, like, I get what you're saying, Kevin, that he was in the moment and it was emotional and it was great. Cool. Guess what? You're playing Survivor. You're in the moment of the game every second. So you better watch what you say every second. And to me, this is basically saying, hi guys, look at me. I'm really prepared for this game. So yeah, you might want to keep me around for a bit, but you know that first merge boot? Please get rid of me.
Me, hello. And so, like, what I think is fun, and like, because this was also another moment where I paused during the episode and I looked at my husband and was like, okay, so I have also similarly done a puzzle like this, where you got to like control the little things. Mine was in an escape room, and so Matthew should have been like, yo, Jeff. I've gotten to do this before in an escape room, and like I felt confident. My team believed in me, and I stepped up and I did it. Just boom. That's it. That's all you
Or
gotta
say nothing, or say, I don't know, it was my day. Thanks, Jeff.
So strange to me. But okay, he has his moment. We get Ratu pulling out the victory. They are not going to back-to-back tribals because I really kind of thought that's where we would be heading. And Soka somehow, our mystery boy Dr. Josh here pulls it out and secures them second place, keeps their tribe intact, and our lovely Tikas are going to tribal council. And I mean, I'm glad Carolyn has found this because it's too soon for her to go. We need her personality, but I am worried for you, girl, because this looks scary for her. What are y'all's thoughts initially with Tika heading to tribal council?
Well, I think Carolyn finding the idol earlier in the episode makes this much more interesting because otherwise you're like, all right, well, it's obviously just Carolyn and we're done.
Yeah.
But with you knowing that she has the idol, she's not going home. Probably. She's probably not going home. And then you're like, oh, okay, well, who else could it be? And then this is also where we discovered Jam's relationship with her.
Mm-hmm.
And Carson being a player here.
Yeah.
That surprised me a bit. And I'm like, is this going to bite him or like later if he's playing this hard and that, like playing both sides that much?
So if this is going to bite Carson, that's going to bite Matt. This is going to bite Claire for sitting out. Like, guys, we're playing a game. Things are going to happen. Carson is playing. He's a player. He made a move. Carolyn here is playing. So the way she's playing, little while, but she's playing.
Yeah,
Jam
but
Jam.
you're pretending as if playing is just okay. Well, we're playing a game, so we could do anything, and nobody takes notes of that, and nobody thinks about it later as they're making decisions. That's the game.
I don't think these decisions though. These decisions are as crucial as they used to be in like 16. Like I don't think some of these moves that are happening are not as because before back in the day in old school Survivor, it was all about loyalty, right? And if you were disloyal at any point, then you were going to get clipped. If you were showed you knew too much, you're going to get clipped. These are all things from before. We are in 44. We are in 44. So when the move happens, people are like, "Damn, that's a good move, dog." And, I mean, Kane.
You're suggesting me that Sarah won't be pissed. Sarah won't say, "Wow, I can't trust Carson anymore."
Sarah doesn't have a vote. She didn't have a vote.
It doesn't matter anymore. I think.
Thank you, Karen. She doesn't matter any longer.
Here. I mean,
Sarah's
so to
on the
me,
outs.
like, you know, I mean, I guess we're just skipping straight to the to the decision of where we're going to go with this. But to me, whenever I'm like looking at Carson, you know, Carson did well socially, positioning himself in between these two groups where they both needed him.
Yep.
And I think Carson is thinking long term, and he's looking at Carolyn, aka Nora, and Jam Jam. Like, I think those are the two I want to go. I think he's thinking long term, and he's thinking these are two people I can beat. And I think this is a 20-year-old making a big mistake, because I think long term maybe it would have been an easier road for him to go with the people he was initially loyal to. I don't think him being disloyal to the people day one he said he was going to give his word to is necessarily going to be that big of a deal, because if they go back, Sarah's going home.
Yeah.
No question about it.
I'm with you, Kylie. I think it's a misread, 100%. I think the decision he decided to go with, bad decision for him.
Yeah.
Because of the misread on who he can, like you just said. I think you're right. He's like, I could beat these two. No, I don't think you can beat Jam Jam. I think you could maybe beat Carolyn, but I don't think you're going to get there long enough because they're going to keep Carolyn over you. So that's just going to be the case if that's what you think is going to happen here. Taking it back a little bit before the tribal council, he goes and he talks to them and he discusses going with them. I did love that Carolyn's like, why would you do this when I'm the easy vote? I loved that.
Yeah, she does have a little bit of self-awareness to her. Like,
more than a little.
She is not, you know, disillusioned as to how she comes across, how people are viewing her. And so she's like, and I mean, honestly, I have like a brief little moment where I'm like, is she gonna play her idol, and is she gonna idol out Carson? Because this is kind of where I thought that this might be going when she was a little bit questioning Carson here.
So I thought Carson might be going home too.
Yeah.
And it was only because of the way they've been editing lately, where like they tell you these two names and out of nowhere there's a name out of the pocket. Then they like to come into the next episode and show you how we got there, right? I thought that's where we were going to go with Carson. And I kind of love that editing wise, because I thought for sure it was going to be Carson based on how they've been editing lately. And since that was the case, it kept me on my toes because I didn't think Helen or Carolyn were going to go home based on that.
Okay. I think Jam Jam is the star in this whole...
He is the major MVP.
Because he knows he's on the bottom of this 4.
Yeah.
And he makes sure that changes. And
I love that Jam Jam goes like scurrying right to Carolyn as soon as they're like confirmed.
Yeah, he's
Carolyn.
Like, they're like,
cool.
Yeah, Carolyn, right? Carolyn. And he's like, yeah, of course, Carolyn. And then he's like, yo, Carolyn.
BRB, Carolyn.
And he's like, okay, so we're definitely on the same page here, right? Like, who should we go for? And Jam Jam's like, H.
Well, I love that. I love that move too. Jam Jam being like, I don't really know. I should just tell her. And then she's like, then someone says, let's make a letter of who we're thinking about at the same time. Let's turn around and then turn back around and see what we're holding up. Okay, ready, set, go. And then you have the W's. Oh, what is that? That's an H. I mean Helen.
Yeah, totally an H. And so, yeah, I mean, I like all of this happening, and I'm with you there, Karen. Like, I think that big time, this is Jam, like really setting himself up well, and like I
Question
said,
for
he took
Sheldon, though.
himself from the bottom of a 4 to the top of a 3.
I have a question for Sheldon.
Yeah.
Jam winner at it? Question mark.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I did want to talk about one thing, because the truth is, I thought like Carolyn was giving a little Kylie was giving props to Carolyn, and the truth is, to me, she had enormous balls by not playing that idol, and that's part of the reason why I don't get, Kevin, your idea that she has no chance to win, because it's not as though she is clueless. She is playing the game. She she found
Nora was playing the game too. Nora was actually playing the game.
I don't think
I'm going to sit out on this one, because I think it is way too soon to make a call either way. Like, is Carolyn doing some things for me that are a little bit surprising and that I did not expect from her? Yes. So I don't think that we can completely rule her out, and I'm also not completely on board with her being a possible winner. Like, I think that she's doing more than I expected her to do strategically.
Well, the truth is, when I say winner, I don't actually mean winner. There's I don't know, 15 people left. Like, we don't know who's going to be the winner. And yeah, you're right, Kylie. We have 2 episodes. My point is, it would not be a shock if Carolyn's at the final 5. Like, that is not preposterous. In fact, I think that might be very possible that happens.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. Yes, no, I think that's very possible, and I think she gets there.
And my point of saying that is not by accident. I mean that she gets there by her own merit, by her own actions. Yes, like, look, she survived last night. She would have gone home.
Right, Jam comes and tells her what's up. Carson says, I want to make a move against Helen. 100% because he thinks Helen has the idol. 100% because he thinks Helen has the idol.
Yeah, that's a Carolyn move.
Yes. Wait.
That's a Carolyn move.
What? No.
That's 100% a Carolyn move.
No, it's not. A crossed arms? Crossed arms is on Carolyn?
Yes. Because it's one thing that the only sign that Carson saw was crossed arms. He also looked at Carolyn, and she was giving him nothing, and he underestimated her. She was playing the role that she needed to play at that point.
Help me out here. How can you attribute him thinking Helen having the idol based on him saying that Helen's arms were crossed? How can you give that credit to Carolyn? Karen, help me out here.
Yeah, I'm with you, Kevin.
I'm sorry. I guess my point is, she didn't put suspicion on herself. She could have.
Only because she's so weird.
Okay, but that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. You play the game as the person that you are.
That is true, and I totally agree with that. You play as who you are, and she is doing that, but we haven't had enough time to see how much is like really her effort. And I do applaud her for not telling anyone. Like, we had that confessional where she's like, I really want to tell everyone.
Yeah.
And hold on, she had the balls to trust Carson also. Like she has an idol in her pocket.
Oh no, I give you that. Like that was ballsy. I never said that. Like, when you said that was ballsy, I was nodding in agreement. I was like, yes, that was ballsy as hell. That she trusted that Carson was with them. Now, what I do wonder, this is the one thing that I completely wonder and we'll never know because we're not going to see it. Does Carson say to Carolyn, I'm with you. Helen has the idol and we have to send her home with the idol in her pocket? Because if those words came out of his mouth to Carolyn, then Carolyn is not nearly as ballsy as we think.
Agreed.
Because she thinks, well, she knows that Carson thinks that Helen has the idol.
Agreed.
That's a good question.
We don't have our evidence. And what I will say, one of my favorite things about Survivor 40 Plus is that we do get flashbacks in shows. And maybe we're going to see that. And maybe we'll see Carolyn plotting.
Maybe.
Maybe
Doubtful.
not. Doubtful.
Doubtful.
I'm giving her
Question mark,
love.
we'll see. All right. So, anything of note that comes up at tribal council?
No, it was like I feel like tribal councils don't really get juicy until you whittle down the numbers.
Well, the first one was apple juice and orange juice put together.
No. It wasn't. It wasn't not from the Jeff part, not from the questions. It was apple juice and orange juice from the plays and the things used and stuff like that, and how the votes went down.
This tribal council compared to the first one is very, very tame.
There
You
was
know,
one side.
questions basically are straightforward. It's time to vote. Once again, we get. I mean, obviously it's going to be Carolyn, but
yes, just staring at this chess
yeah,
pieces.
we get another big time focus on this chessboard where Carolyn is like, "What is all this for?" I was like, "Check all the pieces. What are you doing?"
Yeah, like look at the.
I was gonna say just put them, just like set up the game.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what it is, but I feel
That's
like
what I would do.
there's something there, like.
Because there's pieces that have fallen
What
over.
if it's like magnetic and like you hit that right square with the right chess piece and it's like, and then this
What if
drawer
you-
pops open?
Damn, Kylie, what is going on there?
You guys also throw that in an
quite the
escape
budget. That's quite the budget. What are you?
That sounds like Big Brother and not Survivor.
It sounds like an escape room that I went to. Okay. All right. So time to vote. They vote. Time for them to be read. Our girl Carolyn, ballsy, possibly. She holds on to the idol. And by a vote of 3-1, peace and blessings, Helen. I am a little sad to lose Helen here. I wasn't like super high on her pregame, but you know, I feel like she had some, you know, had a social game, but then she also had some smarts to her and some of her strategies she was talking out. I would have liked to have seen more from her.
Kylie was so not high on her that she's the only one that did not say she would make the merge from our little thing early.
Wait,
Well, the word to my girl Jamie.
Yeah. Karen, Karen, and Robbie all had her making the merge.
I'm surprised I said that actually, but I guess I did.
Yeah,
Yep.
I'm with Kylie. I became a very, very big fan of Helen last episode, and this episode made me a bigger fan of Helen. She's the type of player that if I would be in this game, I would say, "You're mine. We're playing together." I love brainiacs. I love people that are a little bit calmer, like that. Like I want to see more Helens in games like this, and it is for me a shame that she no longer is in the game. However, if it was between her and Carolyn, bye Helen.
Get out of here. I loved Helen as a game player. I think there was so much left on the table. She cares so much about this game, and it's so unfortunate to see her go. I didn't get a chance to listen to Jeff's podcast. Did he say that she was going to be able to come back?
Everybody.
I only got through half of it, so I'm not there yet. But I would like to point out the day after International Women's Day, once again, tribes of 6 are always going to be detrimental to women. And so I am about the furthest thing from a feminist and the furthest thing from being woke. And Jeff has to see that this is a terrible precedent that it's setting. I mean, you're going to continue to lose women early in 6-person tribes.
When did
Again
Kylie
and again
become a
and
lefty?
again and again.
What is going on here?
She said she's the furthest thing from being a feminist.
And then it's like, listen, I don't want to make fun of this person, but did you see what they were wearing? Like she just became left wing. Welcome, Kylie.
I'm here. I've arrived. But I mean, this is just it's so ridiculous. Like, why do you continue to do this? And you're losing these, you know, potentially really good Survivor players because you're not going to.
Is that the case in this tribe?
Like a Jam is 100% off the table because they cannot physically perform the challenges without Jam.
Right.
140-pound Carson, Carolyn, and Sarah and Helen are not.
I don't
going to be able to do this.
I don't know if this is the case of what you're talking about. This specifically.
Well, I mean, it's not necessarily a case of, hey, we're going to vote out the weakest person, but it's going. But Jam Jam is off of the
Yes.
table.
Jam Jam's off the table. Yes, you're 100%. He's the
So,
only strong one on that tribe. And
it
Carson
has
was the
to
one
come
that was
down to
making the
somebody
decision.
that doesn't have the body strength. And guess what? 2 of those people are going to be women. So
Yeah.
So my question is, I assume women would still go home first in an 8-8 tribe or a 9-9 tribe.
I don't think necessarily.
You have more wiggle room though.
Yeah.
I think.
Look, I agree. I also don't
That's
necessarily.
right.
I actually personally prefer larger tribes to start because it creates a lot more complications in understanding the relationships in the game right from the start, as opposed to it being so micro and so small that it's really pretty gosh darn clear every round what's going to happen based on understanding the relationships in the game. So I don't know. Like I love what I'm a big Australian Survivor fan. I love that they always have 10 tribes to start, 10 people per tribe. That is really interesting to me. Far more intricate, far more variations of relationships, far more numbers of alliances that could be made. So a lot more complications. This I don't really get it outside of the idea that maybe you really get more episodes that are focused on less people, so you get to know the people more. But outside of that, I don't really get it.
I personally
I'm gonna
don't.
save it
I
for another
personally
day.
don't really care about the tribe size personally. I wish that it was varied. I don't like the fact that we've had 4 seasons of 6 tribes with 3 tribes.
Okay, that's kind of what I was going to hit on, Kevin, is that, continuing on this idea of like, hey, we don't need themes, we don't need a marooning. This kind of feels like Survivor 41.4. Like, we've been here, we've done this, we've seen these same things happen, and it's, we're changing up a little bit of stuff, and we're getting a little bit of variation. Like, oh, now we have a birdcage instead of a beware advantage. Like,
So
yeah,
if I just call this
we're tweaking
Survivor
a little bit of stuff, but so
Oceans
much of it,
Away,
I feel like we've seen these 6 people tribes. We know what's going to happen. The women are going to get voted off early. You're going to have an.
but that's not the case though, because
but it
Eric,
is
because no, but like Eric went home and that they sent home Eric and Voce first on that other tribe.
I think that's the exception, though.
I know,
and we
I don't disagree with you, Karen. I don't disagree with you. But if you're saying that we've seen this happen, and then you're saying that women get voted out first, we have it as a point where they didn't, and not a point, but like we have an example of where they didn't. And so, like, it's not the same. I'm just saying it's not a carbon copy of like a copy and paste.
But I feel like it's close enough, and we're in the same location. We have the same exact setups. And I think this is kind of like what Sheldon's talking at. Like, okay, this is getting a little bit boring per se because we're not mixing things up a little bit. Like, I don't have any problems occasionally if we have 3 tribes of 6 to start with, but to have it 4, 5, 6, I don't know. However many seasons in a row.
4 seasons in a row. Yeah. No, I get, and I'm in agreement with that. I like to have varied numbers, but I'm watching Survivor for the people and the players, not for like the layout. I mean, Monopoly's the same setup no matter how many times.
Yeah, Monopoly boring as. All right.
I definitely disagree with that. But like that's the point though, like right, a board game is the same no matter how you set it up. The things that happen in game is what's different, and the same thing is here. Is that if you set the board the same, six people, 3 tribes, the things that happen in the game because you have different players playing said game is where you would hope to get variance, and we have variance
a bit, but not a lot. And like I think Kylie's point is we just lost Helen.
Yeah.
Because Yam Yam couldn't have been taken off the table. It was literally because she's a woman and Yam Yam is a man.
Do you think Jam Jam would have gone though?
Jam Jam or Yam Yam?
It's Jam Jam.
Jam.
Well, whether he was able to go or not, I don't think like really matters. The fact that just fundamentally that's not a name that they could put. Like these guys have individual immunity. Like they really do. And unless you're a scrawny guy, like the truth is, if Carson went in pre-gym, maybe he would have been voted out. But
yeah, I think he would have.
So it might not necessarily be a woman thing, outside of the fact that generally, yes, women are smaller and less strong than men. So it will be more likely that it's always going to be a woman that's get voted out. But if there's a small skinny boy like Eric, I think a few seasons ago, who got voted out, Matt,
Zach,
Zach, the one who was in love with Marianne. Like it's the small people thing, right? And
Marianne was in love with Zach.
Oh, that way? Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Zach's girlfriend's pretty hot.
All right. Well, okay. We've gone so far off the rabbit trail again.
No, but this is fun and interesting, Kylie.
Yeah, we're having interesting conversation, Kylie, about the show.
Continue.
Well, I mean, it's true though. I get what you're saying. I just don't think that Helen went home because she was the smallest on the tribe. But I do agree with you guys that Jam Jam was off the table because he was very obviously the strongest of the tribe. But
listen, Helen went home for two reasons. Number one, Jam Jam wasn't an option, and number two, Carson thought she had an idol. That's it. That's why Helen.
I don't think the number one is part of it. I think it's just the number two because
I
Carolyn
think number one has to be part of it.
No, because Carolyn was going to go home. Carolyn was the idea that was going to go home because they didn't know what's her face didn't have a vote.
Okay, but
as far as we know, we don't.
Let's say Carson didn't flip. Yeah, Jam Jam would still not be on the chopping block. It would still always be Carolyn.
But it doesn't. But then Carolyn goes and not Helen. You said Helen only goes because of those two reasons. That's what I'm saying. It's only the second one.
You guys think Carolyn's stronger in competitions than Helen? I don't know.
No.
Hard to say.
I'm not sure.
No.
Good cheerleader.
Good cheerleader.
If I get cast on Survivor, I'm the cheerleader.
Karen,
look, if I ever get cast on Survivor, I'm the first one gone. Like you're strong, the first one gone.
You're gonna be strong.
No, I would not be strong. This is heavy. It's a mess.
Karen, who now after week 2, who do you have winning this season?
Honestly, I'm thinking it's Matthew or Jam Jam.
Wow.
Okay, pick one.
Jam Jam.
Jam Jam. Kylie, who do you have winning this season?
Jam Jam.
Sheldon, who do you have winning this season?
I want it to be Claire, but Jam Jam.
I still have Claire. Don, Bob, anyone in the chat, if you just put who you think is going to win this season while we start wrapping this bad boy.
But just jumping on the Sheldon train, like if we're just looking purely at edits after 2 episodes, I don't think that you can rule out Matthew, Claire,
Franny,
Jam Jam. I think
Jam Jam. Carson.
Carolyn.
No, I don't think so.
Carolyn.
I think
Carson's going to go deep.
Carson, Carolyn, like these are all people that these are all merged people.
So
in the chat, Don has Jam Jam, and Bob in the chat has Claire as well.
Look, one other thing I want to say. What's the name of the tribe that Claire's on?
Soka.
So they haven't lost, right? And it's really kind of unfair that the tribe, like they got the strong people on that tribe, and it is clearly an advantage for them.
What are you talking about? The one tribe has Brandon, who is a former NFL player. The other tribe had what's his face that got hurt and went home. Like they had strong people too.
I don't know. I don't know if it's as balanced. Like I think that the one tribe that the dude went home, like he was the balancing for the rest of the tribe. Without him, they were going to fail.
Aiden in the chat says Kane wins because I'm not dyeing my hair pink again.
Oh God. I will say, like my point is, I actually would love to see more of that tribe because. We might still all be saying, Claire is going to win. We just haven't seen enough of her because we haven't seen her play at a deeper level where she actually has to get votes.
We've not gotten to see much, but we've gotten to see like 2 things basically from Soka, and that is Matt and Franny's relationship, and we've gotten Claire, her, in the little conversations that she's had. We've gotten to see Claire on the sit-out bench with, having the cross-tribal communication with Matthew. Like, Claire is obviously going to make it pretty far in the game because they are making sure that we get little bits of Claire whenever we get Soka. That's
Catherine.
why our boy
You-
Josh worried for him.
You're gonna get
Highly
more Stoka
worried.
when they do digital dailies. So we'll check out for the digital dailies.
What is
and you'll get
digital
more-
dailies? Isn't that just BB Can?
Yeah, the joke.
So question. My last question for the night before I think we need to go to bed. Is CBS going to throw Franny and Matt a wedding?
No.
I'm here
All
for
right.
it.
The nerds never get the love. Okay, so wrapping it up,
I
I'm
just
excited
want
to
some love.
see. I'm excited to see what we get next week. You know, I think we've got some really fun little storylines building here. I'm excited to see it play out. Sheldon, what's going on in your world?
Well, nothing.
Okay, cool. All right, Karen, what's going on in yours?
Also, nothing.
All right, awesome. Kevin, tell us what's going on in the BB Can world.
Listen, we will be coming to you guys live every Friday and
Friday.
Wednesday, recapping the previous episodes of Big Brother Canada. If you do not watch BB Can, this is your opportunity. There's only 2 episodes out so far. One that came on last night, and then one that came on tonight. Check it out. If you don't live in the US, just find the place to watch it. There's like things on the internet. There's links. So just find the link to watch it. If you live internationally, find the link on the internet.
Or
If
reach
you live
out
in
to
Canada,
reach out to @KG Fury.
do
if
not
you have a
at
link.
me. Do not at me. And if you live in Canada,
He will send you a link.
if you live in Canada, just hit up Global. Watch Global TV.
Global TV.
It's right on there. Low key, by the way, Global TV just has like all the best shows. Like you guys have like one channel that has all the shows that you would want to watch on all the
All
networks.
right.
So, like, yeah, like I was watching a commercial. Like, okay, I was watching a commercial. Ghost is a great show. They're talking about Abbott Elementary. They've been talking about Survivor. They have Big Brother. They just have like all those shows on this one channel. So I don't really know. Here in the States, those are all on different networks, by the way, Sheldon. They're all on different networks here. So yeah, so just check that out. Will you be good to go?
All right.
That's
And
just
we will be back.
tomorrow.
Yeah, we will be back next Thursday as we talk about episode 3 of Survivor 44. And make sure you like and subscribe, and you'll get a notification every time we go live. And we'll see you guys next time. Bye, y'all.
Bye.